Hey guys, so I'm making this video today to talk about tinnitus and sleeping issues. I know that can get especially difficult to fall asleep and also to stay asleep with tinnitus. So a warm welcome, and I hope you enjoy the video. Yeah, like many of you know already, I've been suffering myself from tinnitus in my good ear for over 10 years. I was born deaf, and now I'm coaching people to live a better life despite tinnitus. This one is on sleeping issues, and I know many of you have trouble falling asleep and also staying asleep with tinnitus. I myself had my fair share of troubles there throughout my time with tinnitus. And I just want to share with you some of my ideas on how to maybe fall asleep easier and how to stay asleep easier and longer to be more rested in the day. So people with tinnitus, they suffer from sleeping issues mostly because once the whole excitement of the day and everything that had to be done during the day is over, and it's time to calm down, and you go to your bedroom and you turn off the lights, and they're usually a silence and darkness that's inducing sleep, and that's making you calm down. But obviously with tinnitus, that's no longer there. And people have the reaction to tinnitus that they actually get, instead of creating the sleepiness and using the sleepiness to fall asleep, people start to hear their tinnitus and they start to focus on the tinnitus, creating a very unfavorable reaction of stress hormones, cortisone and cortisol, and other stress hormones that will not allow you to drift into refreshing and good sleep. The first one is, I would suggest you to limit your blue light exposure as much as you can. So that might mean to turn down the brightness of your smartphone, use a particular blue light filter on your smartphone. There is many on the App Store or the Google Play Store. Maybe turn down the brightness of your TV as well. These are all things that you can do in order to reduce the blue light exposure, which will inhibit your melatonin production. And why am I talking about melatonin production? Melatonin is the sleep hormone, and it's the most important hormone that lets you fall asleep and stay asleep. Therefore, it's crucially important of how your melatonin levels are. There are certain things that inhibit melatonin production. For example, blue light, as well as caffeine and stress. So my recommendation is to try to limit your blue light exposure, but also, and I know this is a tough one, I'm a very addicted coffee drinker. I love my coffee, but I don't drink coffee after 2 p.m. And I would suggest, if you are depressed and anxious from tinnitus and you're suffering a lot from it, then you might try to limit your caffeine intake, or even completely stop drinking coffee or tea or Red Bull or or Coca-Cola, any other drink that contains a lot of caffeine will not be very favorable for your sleep. And I already have the first remedy there, because luckily we can get melatonin as a supplement. And melatonin, for example, in the US, you can buy it in the supermarket. I bought my melatonin there once when I was for a business trip in the US, and in Europe. In most countries you can get it in the pharmacies. In Germany's it's a bit more difficult, unfortunately, but there's no reason for it. Melatonin is a completely natural hormone. And if you don't want to take it in its pure form from the pharmacy or from the supermarket, this is a great natural tip. If you want to get your melatonin levels up, you can just eat a handful of pistachios. Pistachios are an amazing source of natural melatonin, and that can help you to promote restful sleep. Another remedy that I really like is valerian. Valerian is also an all-natural ingredient that serves the purpose of really calming down and letting your mind relax, especially in the evening. I, for example, take it in the morning when I wake up very early in the morning, not maybe because of tinnitus, because for me, luckily, I don't trigger the reaction to tinnitus anymore. So my perspective on it is people that have sleeping troubles with tinnitus have sleeping problems with tinnitus because obviously their brain triggers a certain reaction to tinnitus when they hear tinnitus in the evening when they're supposed to sleep. My brain doesn't do that anymore, but my brain does other things. So thinking about what to do the next day and all of that can make me think about my day already at 3 a.m. in the morning. I don't want that, so I take a valerian and I'm doing much better already then. So valerian as a supplement, for example, can really help you to calm down in the evening, to relax you more. I would suggest like maybe taking 3 hours before bedtime and then maybe half an hour or 1 hour before bedtime you take another pill. Also in Germany or in Europe you get that in the normal drugstore or in a pharmacy, also in high doses, an all natural ingredient that can really help you benefit from its relaxing properties. And this is a more serious issue now. I know that many of us suffer from some depression even from tinnitus, and I myself have suffered from depression before. Luckily not anymore, but I know how tough it is. And I've been taking no pharmaceutical antidepressants, but another natural ingredient. I'm not recommending that to everyone, not at all. I'm just saying if you have a mild depression because you recently started to suffer from tinnitus, you might want to look into St. John's wort. My doctor used to prescribe it to me in a very high doses. It's another plant-based, all-natural antidepressant, and for some people it works great and for others it doesn't. So if you have the feeling that you're severely depressed and you need proper help, then please consult your doctor and see what the best solution is for you. Now I would like to discuss something very easy that I practice every night before going to bed. It's an evening ritual. I know and I think that evening rituals can help you a lot to fall asleep and to stay asleep easier, because your body is used to habits, and forming a habit can also help you sleep better. Just do one thing that you do every night so your body and your brain really know now it's time to sleep, and that will enable you to repeat this routine, and therefore you'll be able to sleep better and more profoundly. Practice gratitude exercises. Think about 3 things that you like during the day. I hope my video is one of them. Or read something for a couple of pages if that works for you, or write something down in your diary or something like that. That can really help as well, because your body will get used to a routine and your body will know how to go to sleep after the certain active routine you did. Also, another remedy if the tinnitus is really bad at night, and it can also be a ritual for you. I won't recommend any apps in particular, but there are many apps out there, white noises, rainforest sounds. You can find Spotify playlists that will help you to relax better and to maybe drown out the tinnitus noise, to mask it. And maybe you'll be able to fall asleep quicker. Some of these apps even have timers installed, so you can let it run for an hour and then afterwards your phone turns off. With YouTube it's a bit more tricky because it's you can find tons of guided relaxations, white noise, and these things on YouTube, which is very helpful, but obviously the phone and the screen won't probably turn off, which is distracting you from sleeping. But in general, tinnitus masking, if you have issues of falling asleep and staying asleep, the tinnitus masking can really help you. One other thing that I would recommend you, if you wake up during the night and if you can't fall asleep again, then don't try for too long. If you have 20 minutes of not falling asleep again, get up, take a scrap paper, note down your thoughts, why you can't sleep anymore or what's bugging you apart from the tinnitus. Try and do a guided relaxation meditation again on YouTube maybe. And these things can really help when you have trouble falling asleep again. Go to sleep more or less at the same time during the night. So if you have to wake up at 7, go to bed every day at midnight or at 11 p.m. in order to be able to get as much sleep as you need. That being said, I know again that it's very difficult with tinnitus, but the first thing that I want to do is make people, enable them to sleep. So sleep is the most important thing. Without that, you can't rest and you'll feel more stressed, and that's definitely not good for your tinnitus. The problem with tinnitus is that many people, it triggers a reaction when they hear it. And that reaction is in the brain, a negative reaction. I focus on the tinnitus because usually the whole day I can't hear it, and then suddenly at night it whoosh, it comes in there and it's just absolutely loud and roaring, and I can't fall asleep like that. And you come into repetitive thinking patterns and you start to think again over and over, oh, this tinnitus, I can't sleep with it. And this repeated thinking patterns, that's what you tackle in the long run. So in the long run, you'll be able to drift off to sleep because you'll be used to your tinnitus. That will take the intensity away. Some people get rid of it completely, some people can't. But for me, for example, it's like my tinnitus is like having silence for most of the time. Obviously, I won't lie, and there's days that it's difficult, but most of the time I'm able to fall asleep without any problems, and I stay asleep, and I don't wake up because of tinnitus. If you're working with me, and if you're willing to have me coach you, and I'm offering the first 30 minutes of coaching for free, and we can see whether we want to work with each other, what I can offer and help you. I have another video here on my channel that speaks a bit about the different causes of tinnitus and how I start coaching people, and I try to find an individual way, asking the right questions for you to be able to advance in your life and come towards either eliminating parts of the tinnitus or at least decreasing the intensity through a training that enables you to see the tinnitus as something that's there, but that doesn't bother you. So that won't trigger the response of your brain, this negative and repetitive thinking patterns. That's really important in my opinion. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it will be able to help you in falling asleep faster and staying asleep for longer, even with tinnitus. I'm super glad to help out wherever I can. So if you have questions about anything that I just mentioned in this video, I'm going to note it down in the description of this video as well. You can send me an email at frida@outeringtinnitus.com or visit my website, outeringtinnitus.com. And as I said, I offer 30 minutes of free coaching at the moment, so we can see and evaluate whether we want to work together, what are the ways and in which ways I can support and help you to grow into a stronger version despite your tinnitus, and also help you with sleeping problems, anxiety, stress, and so on and so forth. So yeah, thanks again for watching. I'm very glad I get to do this, and I want to help as many people as possible to live a better life despite tinnitus. I hope to hear from you soon. Bye.